Hello, everybody. Welcome to another KMU Pod or KMU Pod Live podcast. Excuse me. I'm your host, Rick Kitcheberg, and joining me again this week's Derek Relaford. How's everything going, Derek?
Pretty good, man. How you doing? You've had a pretty interesting day so far. You said.
Yeah, I went to hospital today to get pre-registered for surgery and everything. It was supposed to take place tomorrow morning. And yeah, I was supposed to be at 5:30. Surgery was supposed to start about 7:30. Did all my pre-registration stuff, blood work, X-rays, all that good stuff, and probably about 2 or 3 hours after all getting all that done, I get a phone call from the hospital saying they're canceling the surgery because whatever test they were running on my blood, apparently there was some clotting issues of some sort that was higher than should be. So they said they had to cancel it because it was too risky to do. So next Wednesday, I have to go back to the hospital, do another blood draw, and see where my blood's at then, and then go from there. I even get still have my wristband on because they told me I had to leave that on for surgery in the morning, and they were going to put another wristband on there. And they punched holes in this one with a hole punch, so they knew which one not to scan tomorrow. But yeah, so tomorrow's surgery is not going off, so I'm not sure when it's going to be now. So like I said, next week I'm going to do the blood draw again and see where I'm at and reschedule everything. So
Are you? How do you feel about it? Are you a little relieved that you don't have to have surgery tomorrow? I mean, obviously, it's they're gonna do it eventually, but like, are you relieved that you get another week of not being cut open? Or
I was to a point where I was just ready to get it done and over with and start mending and healing so I could get back to business,
Mhm.
But now it's more hurry up and wait. So
Yeah. Well, honestly, man,
I'm still gonna
with
do the
what
GoFundMe
they were
account. Get
doing,
that
they were
money.
gonna cut you open, and if they're worried about it, definitely,
Yeah,
I would. Yeah, like, yeah, you guys wait. Whenever you all are ready, you go ahead and do it. Like that. That sounds like
yeah,
it could have been scary if they would have did it anyway.
yeah. My mom. I talked to my mom about it later, and she's like, "Well, maybe it was God's way of saying that you didn't need it yet." I'm like, "Well, could be. I just
Could
have to
be,
trust
man.
him. Keep my faith strong and trust him."
Yeah, I just think it's important to. That's some serious stuff. Their
Yeah, it does.
heart surgery. Yeah, just whatever. Wait till a perfect day.
Yeah.
Anything else been going on besides
Been pretty
Stephanie
quiet.
was asking, she said there's a guy that went missing, maybe named AJ. She was asking if you had covered it at all. It was a recent one.
What was his name?
I think his name was AJ. I can ask Steph when gets here.
Yeah, ask her. 'Cause I'm not. The AJ is not sounding familiar, but
Yeah, I'll ask her when she gets here. But yeah, anything else as far as what's been going on in the true crime world? Any kind of updates or anything?
um, trying to think. It's so busy, busy and consumed with all the surgery stuff. I've been trying to keep up on stuff too, but
Yeah,
trying to think. Is there anything that I've read or seen or
I
um?
haven't really.
The only thing that I've really been trying to keep up on here recently was that dismembered 15-year-old girl Celeste. I can't think of her last name. She was found in that one singer's car, dismembered, and
Oh, yeah, that David guy,
was
but it's spelled
David. Yeah,
D4VD.
yeah. He's canceled upcoming shows, and they say he's being really cooperative and this and that. I mean, how do you explain the 15-year-old girl ending up dismembered in the car?
And then I saw that you had posted a located deceased this week.
Yeah, I was contacted while I was at work about making that flyer, and I had to hurry up and wait until I got off work to do it. I finally did it, got it made, got it posted. And about the time I got it posted, I get a message back saying that they found her deceased in her car. And apparently, from what I understand, she was found deceased in her car. Then they went into the home where the car was parked at, which wasn't her home. But they found a male deceased in the basement of the house from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and apparently they were in a relationship together. So it sounds like it was a domestic violence situation.
Oh wow!
So, yeah, it was a bad deal.
I think I saw that on like national news, maybe.
It might have been.
like a blip about that.
Might have been. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm trying to work on another out of state one out of Pennsylvania. What is her name? Lolene. What's her name now? Went missing up there back in 1981. And, it's just a bizarre case. I'm trying to work on a flyer for it, and I'm watching videos and stuff, doing research on it. I'm gonna have to get me a new TV for my room because mine's old enough to now. I've been getting this little prompt on my TV screen saying Yahoo's gonna quit supporting the apps on my TV and stuff like that. And I just really haven't paid it much mind. Well, now all of a sudden, apparently they're not, because I'm not getting any apps on my TV anymore at all. TV
Really?
TV itself works fine. It's just not supporting apps anymore, so I'm not getting any like YouTube, Tubi, Pluto, those kinds of. I'm not getting any of that anymore. Still a perfectly good TV, but I just can't use it for the internet functions anymore.
That's what
replace it.
That's all I watch is the internet. I just watch the apps.
I'm watching on my phone and my computer.
Yep. You might be going through your web right now.
Yeah, as I say, I apologize in advance to everybody in case my internet goes wonky. I've been having some internet issues the last couple of days, yesterday and today. There was apparently an outage in my area yesterday. But for some reason, like right before the show, Derek and I were talking, all of a sudden I get booted out of StreamYard completely. And it took me forever to get back in. So hopefully it'll stay put tonight and work for me the rest of the show. But we'll see. But in case it does happen, I apologize, and I'll try to get back in as quick as I can. It's another today.
You might be going through your webcam microphone, buddy.
Do it.
You might be going through your click on settings and audio and make sure you're going through your microphone, because you might be going through your webcam. You sound fine, but it doesn't sound as strong as usual.
Okay, let me check and see. Yeah, it's saying Realtek. I don't know why.
There we go. Now you sound
saying this. Yeah, there's no sure.
You're good to go.
Okay, here we go.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and start the show. We're watching Kansas Missing Unsolved. We'll be right back after this.
Okay. You're going to really find that tonight's show is a lot of Solana cases tonight, because I figured if I'm going to have surgery tomorrow, I want to do one real good push on the Solana cases before my surgery. So that's what I set it up as. So bear with me. This is Lori Heimer, of course, unsolved homicide from June 25th, 2016. Lori Heimer was brutally stabbed in a rural area home on June 25th, 2016. She ran her business, Lori's Poodle Patch, from her home. Lori was a licensed breeder of miniature-sized poodles and was licensed through the state of Kansas. Kansas Bureau of Investigation was contacted to assist Saline County Sheriffs in the investigation. They responded with agents and their crime scene response team. During the investigation, 2 vehicles of interest were developed. Vehicle 1 was said to be an older flatbed pickup truck, possibly a Chevrolet, which is described as beat up, maroon in color with a white front bumper, silver grille, and wide-style side mirrors. The driver was described as a man who was 50 years of age or older with salt and pepper hair. Vehicle number 2 was an older style small pickup truck, possibly a Chevrolet S10 with a 2-tone paint job, dark blue on the top and bottom with light blue in the middle, a silver back bumper, and a newer blue tailgate that appeared to have minimal damage when compared to the body of the truck. The remainder of the vehicle is described as beat up and scratched up. There may have been 2 animal cages or crates in the back. The driver of the second vehicle was described as a white male, approximately 40 years of age, with shoulder-length hair and wearing glasses. Investigators have said they would like to locate these 2 vehicles. They would also like to speak to anyone that had any contact or business appointment with Lori at any time between June 20th and June 25th, 2016. If you have any information regarding the homicide of Lori Heimer, please call the Saline County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-826-6500 or the KBI 1-800-572-7463. There is a reward of $37,500 available, being offered for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for Lori's murder. So if you have any information at all, no matter how small you might think it might be, or even if you think it's unimportant, get it in there so it can be checked out and seen whether or not they need that information or not, and see if it can help bring some justice to Lori's case, to Lori and her family.
Seems like they got quite a bit of information on the those two vehicles, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't know if they were involved or not. I mean,
it just seems like somebody saw those vehicles.
Yeah.
You know, somebody saw something.
Yeah.
But even then, though, like again, like I wasn't there, but like if you have people saying that there was two vehicles, multiple people, and then this, you know, hits the news and everything. If you were those people and you had nothing to do with it, why not come forward and be like, well, this is what we saw. You know, we went there, we talked, we did this, and then we left, and everything was fine. You know, it's just, I feel like once there's like I don't know where they got the information of, like, you know, these descriptions of vehicles and people that were around there, but it seems to me like you'd have to have a couple people see something to report it for them to, you know, put it into the report, you know.
Right. And looks like we got Christopher Under in the house, Queenie's in the house, Scott Messerschmidt's in the house, Ellen's in the house, Rodney's in the house. So be sure we're sharing the show out there and let everybody know we're here and what we're doing. You know, try to get as many folks in here as we can get in here tonight. And this one's Haley Davis, missing from here in Salina since July 21st, 2023. She was 19 when she went missing. She's now 21. 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. She left Salina, Kansas with a male acquaintance to go to Wichita, Kansas. She was last active on her social media and last heard from on July 21st, 2023. Wichita police say that the investigation has led them to believe that Haley may be deceased. And when she went missing, she was 19. She's now 21. 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be bleach blonde, and she does have blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Haley's disappearance, you know of her whereabouts or the location of her remains, please call Detective Owen at 316-268-4185, or you can email aowen@wichita.gov. To remain anonymous, you can call Crime Stoppers down there in Wichita, Sedgwick County at 316-267-2111, or the KBI at 785-296-4017, or their 1-800-572-7463, and see what we can do to help get Haley located and back home to her family. And yeah, it's been long enough. Let's get her found, back home to her brother, her aunt, her son. I'm sure they're all missing her quite badly.
Yeah. That's been going on 2 years, right?
Yeah. A little over 2 years.
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. A little over. A little bit
I think
over.
once they hit the year mark, it's pretty scary, you know?
Yeah. And this one's Anthony Senescali, missing from Salina, Kansas since August 17th, 1987. Was 36 when he went missing, and now he's 74. 5'9", 160 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He was last seen by his family at Jerry Ivy Park in Salina, Kansas on August 17th, 1987. His wife saw him driving east on his way home from work at Beach Aircraft Corp in Salina, Kansas, which is now One Vision. She followed him home to the park. He stopped near the restrooms and spoke to her. He was surprised to see her and told her he was not feeling well. His wife tried to convince him to let her drive him home, but he refused. She left him there and went to get help from her brother. When she returned to the park, he was gone. His car was still parked by the restrooms. It was locked with all of his belongings inside, including his lunch that he took to work that day. He did not show up for work the next day, and he's never been heard from again. Anthony's social security number, credit card, and bank accounts have not been used, and he has not contacted any of his family. He was devoted to his two children. It's uncharacteristic of him to leave without warning. He's originally from New York, where his parents, who are Italian immigrants, live, and he had been living in Salina for about 9 years prior to his disappearance. Anthony's families, they fear that he became homeless. They distributed missing persons flyers in New York and in Florida, where his sister lived, but he's never been found. His case does remain unsolved. If you have any information regarding Anthony's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see what we can do to get Anthony located and back home to his family. I've seen stuff walking around behind you.
Yeah, I was just asking her to send me that
Okay.
that one I was talking to you about.
All right. And this is Beverly Logan, another unsolved homicide here in town. From January 21st, 2008, Salina Police Department responded to 1200 East Iron to check the welfare of the only occupant of the residence, Beverly Logan. Police officers found the front door ajar and Ms. Logan deceased in the kitchen. It was apparent to the investigating officers she was the victim of a brutal attack. The homicide occurred around noon on Monday next to a heavily patronized convenience store, which is now known as Casey's. I can't remember if it was still under the Green Lantern name at that time or not, on Iron Street. And Beverly's murder has been extensively investigated by the Salina, Kansas Police Department, and the investigation is ongoing. There have been no viable suspects. And if you have any information regarding Beverly's death, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or call Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477 or text SA Tips to Crimes 274-637 or visit www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip. You may receive a cash reward of up to $1,000 and you're not required to give your name. There is a reward of $11,000 being offered for information leading to an arrest and conviction in Beverly's murder. So again, if you have any information, no matter how small or unimportant or what you might think it might be, get it called in and let investigators decide whether it's something they need or not, because it could very well be a piece that they need to help solve this. So let's see what we can do to get some justice for Beverly and her family. I know at one time they thought they had a person of interest and released a composite, and then they retracted it and said, nope, he wasn't a person of interest anymore. They theorized at one time some collectible dolls that she had may have been the target for a possible robbery and then her murder, but she'd given the dolls away prior to that. And then they thought maybe they might be going after her parrot. I don't think that panned out either. So, if you have any information at all, I'll get that called in. Alrighty. And this is Nellie Mae Hubbard. And there's a photo of the lighter that was found at the crime scene. The only evidence that I believe that they found of the killer was that lighter, because she was not a smoker, wouldn't have had any reason to have a lighter. But Nellie Mae Hubbard's murder is still unsolved after 44 years, and I think that's still accurate. No, it's not accurate. It's 44 years. No, it is accurate. Never mind. Happened on March 14th, 1981. Nellie was found deceased in her residence at 1008 East Elm Street on the cot that she slept on in her living room. She was covered with a sheet, and the scarf she usually wore was found on the floor. Nellie put up a struggle during her attack. Ultimately, Nellie died of asphyxiation. She also suffered 8 broken ribs. One was broken in 2 places. She also had a broken bone in her throat. She also had an injury to the back of her skull. She also had bruises on her arms, and there was evidence of other internal injuries. Upon searching Nellie's home, investigators found $93,000 in cash and over $100,000 in certificates of deposits, or CDs, and a large quantity of silver coins dating back to 1886. Investigators also discovered that Nellie's home was filled with miscellaneous household items, trash, and other clutter that made 2 bedrooms unusable. Like the other victims we've talked about, Nellie Mae Hubbard deserves to be able to rest in peace, and need to help bring her killer to justice. And if you have any information on her death, please call the Salina Police Department at 785-826-7210 or Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477 or text SA Tips to Crimes 274-637 or visit www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip or call the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. and see what we can do to get some justice for Nellie and any family members that she still may have around the area. Which I've never heard of. I mean, I've heard of a brother that she had, but he's passed on. I don't know of any. I have never heard of any nieces, nephews, cousins, anything like that. So I don't know what family she still has around. Wish I could find out and see if I could get with one and get a better photo of Nellie besides what I've got there, but that's all I've ever been able to come up with. But
Where did you find that one picture?
I found that in the Salina Journal archives on the public library's website.
Okay.
So those were converted off of microfilm and put on the website. So it's not very good quality at all.
Well, I know small towns. I don't know. Salina's pretty big, but small towns typically at their museums they have what's called a media room, and they have in small towns. Again, I don't know if Salina would have, but in smaller towns like Elkhart, Hugoton, and stuff, they have media rooms, and they have a file on like every family that's ever like called that area home, and they have like every time they've been in the paper, like all kinds of stuff. And I'm wondering if there's anything in there for her or Kenny Wrightcheck. Speaking of which, I was going to ask you if there's ever was a Kenny Wrightcheck memorial of any kind.
No, there's never been one done yet. I did, however, speaking of the museum, I did read a book about a police officer that was killed here in town, Jerry Ivy. And some of the author's photos, he had made a mention that he had got them from the museum, that their museum is housing a lot of the old Salina Journal archives and stuff. And they were good quality pictures. So I was wondering about the possibility of them maybe having a photo of Nellie. I've been meaning to call and ask. I think I emailed him and asked him, but never got a response to my email. So I may have to go down there and pay him a personal visit. That's what I might have to do. Might just do that.
I would check, man. I think there's a lot of information in these old media rooms that people aren't aware of.
Yeah. Yeah, and this one's Gina Cyphers, another unsolved homicide here in Salina. She was 24 years old with an infant son. By all accounts, she was a loving mother and good person. December 28, 1995, Gina dropped off her 15-month-old son at a daycare program called Morning Out for Moms at the Salina Church. When she didn't return a couple hours later, the daycare called Gina's boyfriend at work. He went to the mobile home they shared and found the young woman brutally murdered. It was a crowded mobile home park over on the west central part of town. Trailers were close together. The violence happened sometime between 9 a.m. and noon. Still, all these years later, Gina Cypher's murder remains unsolved. Initial newspaper reports said she was stabbed, but police are keeping a lot of details secret. They say there have been a lot of leads that have gone nowhere. The playing card down there out of the cold case deck said that she had been stabbed, strangled, and possibly sexually assaulted. So there's a little bit more details there. If you have any information on Gina's death, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210. Or call Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477. Or text SA Tips to Crimes 274-637. Or go to www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit your tip. There's a $1,000 reward you can maybe be eligible for that way. And you're not required to give your name, or you can call the KBI 1-800-572-7463. There is also a governor's reward of $5,000 available for the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for Gina's death. See what we can do to help get some justice for her and her son and her family. And that you can see that mobile home there. That was the crime scene there, where she was found murdered in that mobile home, which is now a big, huge vacant lot. Nothing stands there anymore. No trees, no trailers, no nothing.
I wanted to shout out Rodney Cox, who's tuning in. If you watch the introduction to this podcast, the very first shot is a drone going in a circle around me and Ricky, and we're actually standing right where this crime took place.
Yeah, we were standing right on the location. Yeah, it's kind of a surreal feeling, really, when you're standing on a location where you know a violent crime happened like that. Mm-hmm. It's really a surreal feeling.
All of them were surreal, but the two that gave me I don't want to use the word heebie-jeebies, but just made me kind of feel something was when we went out to this one,
Yeah.
and then that was it Tom Young?
Yeah.
That one, for some reason, when we were outside of that building, you could just
Yeah.
really feel that something horrible happened, you know?
Right. Right. It's crazy. And that one's another one that's not solved either.
Uh-huh.
And this one's Mildred Hawk. And we went by the place where she was murdered too. She was 85. She was found deceased outside of her residence at 919 North 7th Street in Salina, Kansas on Halloween night, 1987, by a passerby. Passerby said that the front door was left open and a screen had been pried from a south basement window. Salina police surmised an intruder broke into Hawk's home late Friday night, October 30, 1987, or early Saturday, October 31st, 1987. Tied her up and raped her. Police said she freed herself, but moments later died of a heart attack in her driveway while trying to summon help from a neighbor. Police said the phone lines to the home had been cut. No suspects have ever been arrested in connection with Mildred's death. If you have any information, no matter how minute you might think it may be, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477 or text SA TIPS to Crimes 274637 or visit www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip. Or call the KBI at 1-800-572-7463 and see what we can do to get some justice for Mildred and her family. And for a long while, I never had a photo of her, but a family member sent one to my brother, and he forwarded it on to me. So thank you to her family for that.
We cover all these unsolved cases. In your time in Salina, you know, you've been there your whole life. Have you seen quite a few cases get solved?
Yeah, quite a few have gotten solved. There was one that I had a flyer up for a while that had gone missing, and her car was actually found abandoned in the parking lot of my complex. And come to find out later, her sister apparently was living up here at that time too, which I did not know. And she was eventually found deceased west of town, and the person responsible arrested and sentenced to prison. And as far as I know, is still there. But yeah, that was one that did. There's been others, but these have just been, some of these, like this one's from 1987. Some of these have been, and Nellie's was from 81, and it's just, and Tom Young, when we get to his, this is from 1977, and just so many on the books that have been unsolved for so many years. And the sad thing about it, and it's going to sound a little cliche because I've heard other YouTubers and stuff say it, but it's the truth, is the fact that as the years go on, memories fade, people pass, people move. You know, the chances of these things getting solved get less and less and less as every day and every month, every year go by. But I still continue to keep them out there because I'm just hoping that somebody out there may know some little bit of something that might help get this thing solved. I mean, like with Mildred's case, I mean, here's an 85-year-old woman that gets tied up and raped at 85 years old. I mean, that's just crazy.
Pretty boring.
Who would want to rape an 85-year-old woman?
Yeah.
Just absolutely crazy.
Pretty gross stuff, buddy.
Yeah. People just do not seem to amaze me anymore with just the kind of crap that they do. Just does not blow my mind anymore.
Yeah.
Just deeply troubling and deeply sad.
Yeah. Pretty gross stuff. This is another one that we did the drive, and you were able to take me to the gas station, the storage unit, and then where her van was found in 12 minutes.
Right. And I believe we even went by where her apartment building that she lived in used to stand.
Yeah. All within 12 minutes. Which
is actually right across the street from the museum. But yeah, this is Catherine Adams. She went missing from Salina, Kansas on April 29th, 1993. 35 when she went missing. She'll now be 67. 5'4", weighs 120 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She was last seen at 4:30 a.m. on April 29th, 1993 at Quick Shop convenience store, the 1700 block of West Crawford Street in Salina, Kansas. She drove a white full-size Ford van with "She Has Legs" written on the sides in white lettering. You can see the van is what's actually white and blue. The "She's Got" is in white, the legs is in blue. Her van turned up abandoned at 5:45 p.m. the day after Catherine disappeared at Russell's Restaurant in the 600 block of West Point Boulevard. I did find out doing some research, reading old articles and stuff on the library website. The van was found parked on the north side of the restaurant, which is somewhat significant because it obscures it from the truck stop on the south side. So whoever parked it there had the forethought to do that so they wouldn't be seen from the truck stop side. So let's see here. The van was spattered with mud on the outside and blood soaked on the inside. And another footnote is that Russell's Restaurant was closed for remodeling at that time, so there would have been nobody around. A large amount of blood was also found at a storage unit in West Salina where Catherine, a saleswoman for Legs Pantyhose Company, picked up her stock each day, but there was no sign of her at either location. She's never been heard from again. Police speculate someone attacked Catherine when she was inside the storage unit. It appeared they interrupted her in the process of loading the merchandise in her van, leaving the door of the unit open. Catherine was separated from her husband at the time of her disappearance and had a teenage daughter. Her case does remain unsolved and foul play is suspected. If you have any information regarding Catherine's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210. Our Crime Stoppers are 785-825-8477. Or text SA Tips to Crimes 274-637. Or go to www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip. Or call the KBI at 785-296-4017 or 1-800-572-7463 and see what we can do to get some justice for Catherine and her family. And that's long overdue. We just need, it's just crazy how that case went. I mean, I know a lot of things got hampered in the investigation because we did have a lot of rainfall around that time, a lot of flooding around that time. So, I mean, I'm sure that hampered and made things very difficult for police investigating. And I see Chris is asking, I wonder where Catherine Adams' Legs van is nowadays. I'm sure they probably still have it locked away in an evidence locker or evidence storage facility somewhere, I would think. I don't think they would have let it go just yet. I don't know, though. I would think there would still be some evidentiary value to it. I don't know. I've never heard whether they tested it for prints, tried to look for any other DNA in recent years that would not have been hers. I've never heard any more on that. They haven't given any updates on her case in decades. So the last piece that I think of that was ever done on it was really the 20-year anniversary. The Salina Journal did a piece on it on the 20-year, which would have been 2013. So it tells you how long ago it's been. And I was actually part of that piece too as well. So
Really?
Yep. And that picture that you used in the intro where I'm holding up her flyer, that was from the Salina Journal article. But yeah. Another sad case. You wouldn't think a town of 50,000 people would have this many unsolved cases.
I don't know, man. Like I got into true crime because of Elkhart. I felt like there was
fruity again. I may get booted.
You're janking up.
We'll see though. I may get booted. I don't know. I'm hoping not.
Elkhart has a lot of suspicious deaths for.
Because your audio is getting really. Your audio is breaking up really, really bad on my end.
Oh no.
So I don't know if I'm getting booted or not, because this is what happened when it booted me before the show. It started being really fruity and frozen up with the audio. But I'll keep going until we see what happens here. This is Alex LaRussa, of course, missing from Salina, Kansas since December 8th, 2017. He was 25 when he was missing. He's now 32. 6'2", 175 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Last contact he had with his family was at 4 a.m. on December 8th. He is wheelchair bound as his left leg is amputated above the knee. The vehicle Alex is driving was found on a farm in New Cambria, Kansas in northeast Saline County. His cell phone, clothing, wheelchair were all found in the vehicle, among other items. Again, when he went missing, he was 25. He would now be 32. 6'2", weighs 175 pounds, has black hair and brown eyes. He has a tattoo on the left side of his neck that says pain, and a tattoo of 13, the number 13 on the right side of his chest, and a star on the left side of his chest. Or excuse me, the 13's on the right side, star's on the left. If you have any information regarding Alex's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 or 1-800-572-7463. Or you can call Crime Stoppers anonymously at 785-825-8477 and see what we can do to help get him located and back to where he needs to be. The playing card is worded rather interestingly because it just says on December 15, 2017, Alex LaRusso of Salina was reported missing after being seen on December 8, 2017. This is the part that was interesting. Alex's vehicle was recovered in a secluded area, but his body was never recovered. So I don't know if they're just already automatically assume he's deceased or what, by using that particular wording.
I don't see how you get very far in his physical condition without what he left behind, you know?
Yeah. And this is, we were just mentioning him a little bit ago. Tom Young. It's another unsolved homicide. He was reported missing by his family on Monday, July 11th, 1977. Thomas was the owner-operator of the Lift Tavern in 150 South Broadway. An employee of the Lift reported walking out of the business with Thomas on July 10th, 1977 at about 12:45 a.m. The employee then observed Thomas walk back into the business. When the same employee returned to work on July 11th, 1977, Thomas's vehicle, a 1977 white Chevy Corvette, was still parked in the parking lot and the business was secured. Thomas's body was discovered on July 12, 1977 in the Raggedy Ann Tavern at 260 Smithers. The tavern was owned by Thomas and was in the process of being remodeled. The cause of death was listed as homicide. A message from the family of Thomas Young. We'd like to thank the public, or we'd like to ask the public to please come forward with any information they may have in regards to our dad, brother, husband, and friend. It's been 48 years, and closure for everyone would be satisfying. The way a case was handled 48 years ago is so different than in today's time due to new technologies and procedures. We're asking for any assistance that may give us the closure we're looking for. That message was released in 2018, so I actually updated the years that it's been since the case happened. Anybody that has any information concerning the homicide of Thomas Young is asked to call the Salina Police Department at 785-826-7210 or the Salina-Saline County Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477. Tips can also be sent via text by texting SA Tips to Crimes, which is 274-637, or you can go to www.pd.salina.org and click the Crime Stoppers link. You may receive a cash reward of up to $1,000, and you're not required to give your name. Or you can call the KBI at 1-800-572-7463 and see what we can do to get some justice for Tom and his family. I do see his brother pretty regularly where I work at, and I have talked to him and let him know about the flyer and stuff. And I think I actually need to print a copy of it out and give it to him one of these times when I see him. And I was telling Derek, is the location where his body was found is still owned by the family, and it's still being used as a family business. So, which I thought was kind of interesting because I don't know that I could do that. I don't know that I could continue to work out of a location where a family member was killed.
It'd be weird for sure.
Yeah.
I could see the argument though that if you left, that maybe the killer would think that you were scared of him, and maybe they're not scared of him. Maybe they're like, come back and see what happens, you know? Come back and try that shit again, you know?
Yeah. Of course, the rumor mill has been swirling around this case for years, and I've had people tell me things over the years, what they think happened, and of course, I don't deal with rumor and speculation, so I never share it because without proof, there's no point. So,
yeah. Well, I don't know, man. When you do this kind of thing, like we interviewed London's mother, you know, a few weeks ago, and I've heard so many stories about that case, and I haven't sought that case out. You know, it's pretty close to here. But if you believed everything that was said, then bring in the Hollywood producers, you know, because it sounds like a movie, you know. I think anytime something happens, people just add their own fan fiction to it.
Right.
I think it's just human nature, but Yeah, like you said, unless it's from a reputable source, I try not to put very much water in that bag.
Right. This one is Stephen James Bettles. This is another unsolved homicide. It's out there around Solomon, which is in Saline County, a little ways. He was 38. He was found dead from a gunshot wound shortly after 5 p.m. on September 15, 2009, by members of his family who were checking on his welfare. Stephen's body was found in a house trailer behind the main house on his property at 9041 East Shipton Road near Interstate 70, just west of the town of Solomon in eastern Saline County. Stephen, who had been employed as an over-the-road truck driver for Great Plains Trucking, is believed to have been killed 2 days before his body was found. When he failed to show up for work on September 15th, his employer became concerned and contacted his family, who found him the same day. No other details have been released in Stephen's murder, and no arrests have been made. Anybody has any information regarding the murder of Stephen Bettles is asked to contact Saline County Sheriff's Office at 785-826-6500 or Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477 and see what we can do to get some justice for Steve and his family.
We've definitely covered this flyer quite a few times.
Yeah, we have. Most of the time, Trisha was the one that asked us to do it. But
You'd think that we've covered some of these cases for 5 years now, going on 6, and you'd think that there'd be some updates, but
yeah, like I say, the sheriff's department, the police department, they're not real big on updates apparently, because I never see anything. They did one update, not one update, but they did share Thomas Young's case 1 year and asked for information on his case 1 year, and I was really actually surprised that they did. I really was. I was like, whoa, okay.
I could see him being overwhelmed because they got a lot of unsolved cases. It's like,
yeah. This one's William Billy Allen Farmer. Saline County Sheriff's Office is hoping that someone that may have a small bit of information could help clear a 44-year-old unsolved murder case. On May 31st, 1981, 30-year-old William Billy Farmer was found dead in a car with multiple gunshot wounds in a remote area southeast of New Cambria. Thursday morning, the sheriff's office and the family of Farmer made an appeal to anyone who might have information about the murder to come forward. Deputy Jim Hughes, who has been investigating the case, I don't know if he's still with the sheriff's office or not, says it's believed that with recent deaths of some persons of interest in the case, someone who might have felt intimidated should come forward with information that can be used to close this case. Hughes and Saline County Sheriff Glenn Kokonowski, which he's no longer the sheriff, he's deceased, Roger Sullivan now, both said there are people in the area who know what happened, but for many reasons have chosen not to come forward to law enforcement, but they asked them to come forward now and help provide closure for Farmer's 2 sons, Brady and Bronson, and his wife, Brenda Farmer Henderson. Anyone who believes they may have information concerning this case, no matter how small or insignificant they think may be, or asked to contact Saline County Sheriff's Office at 785-826-6500 or call Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477 or text SA Tips to Crimes, which is 274-637, or go to www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip, or you can call 1-800-572-7463. That's the KBI number, and see what we can do to get some justice for Billy and his family and his sons and his wife. Long overdue, another one going back to 1981. So let's see what we can do to help solve it.
wow.
And this is another one. She was from Salina, but her remains were found elsewhere. This is Nicole J. Horde. She was 16. She was last seen by her parents in Salina, Kansas in August of 2007. On October 18, 2008, 2 deer hunters discovered skeletal remains in a wooded area near the Republic River in Cloud County, Kansas, about 1.5 miles northwest of Concordia, Kansas. The area is just west of U.S. Highway 81. In late October 2008, the Cloud County Sheriff's Office announced that dental records were used to identify the remains as Nicole Horde. Sheriff's Office has never divulged any further details, such as the suspected manner of death, time of death, whether any weapons were found near the body, or how or if the remains were clothed. Despite this, Nicole's death is being investigated as a homicide. Nicole had been a student at the Salina Central High School. She withdrew from the school in February 2007. Her friends say shortly after that, Nicole moved to Concordia to live with a boyfriend. She did not maintain a close relationship with her family, but did occasionally communicate with friends online after she moved. According to a 2008 media report, Nicole's parents did not report her missing because police were already looking for her. A warrant for Nicole's arrest had been issued in May 2007 after she failed to appear for the third of 15 consecutive weekends, as she had been ordered to spend in the Saline County Juvenile Detention Center, which is no longer in existence. She was ordered to serve the time after pleading guilty to disorderly conduct charge. After spending her second weekend locked up, Nicole told her parents that she couldn't stand it anymore, and according to her mother, she bolted and ran away. They last saw her in August 2007. On November 3rd, 2010, agents with the KBI, along with Cloud County Sheriff's deputies and Concordia police officers, began searching a mobile home and property owned by a Concordia resident, Chuck Robbins, at 443 East First, in a neighborhood a few hundred yards east of the U.S. Highway 81 overpass in North Concordia. Robbins gave authorities permission to search the property, including the mobile home, which he had converted into a storage building. Cloud County attorney said the property was being searched in relation to Nicole's murder, but they would not say specifically why the property was being searched, only that there's obviously going to be something in there that we're looking for. 10 days later, on November 13, 2010, a search dog from Wichita that specialized in searching for signs of human blood decomposition and bones made indications or hits on the property. Cloud County attorney would not comment on what exactly was found, only saying that it may add another piece to the investigation. If you have any information regarding Nicole's death, please call the Cloud County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-243-3636 or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463 or 785-296-8200 and see what we can do to get some justice for Nicole Horde and her family. That was a lengthy flyer.
Yeah.
A lot of information. But anything that will help bring closure to a case will be good.
A lot of those are pretty lengthy, but when they're cold cases, there's a lot more information.
Right.
We won't play the video just because you're having some internet issues, but we're going into the missing teen section. You'll notice on these flyers we don't have very much information at all sometimes.
Right. Sadly. Yeah, I know we covered this one a few weeks ago, and she had been located. And then last night I was looking up another one on Salina and saw her name pop again. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I updated her flyer and reposted it. This is Kmu Carrico, missing from Salina, Kansas, on September 28th, 2025. She's 14, 5'3", 140 pounds. Her hair was last known to be bleach blonde. She has hazel eyes. Believe she may still be in the local Salina area, or she may be in the McPherson, Kansas area. And she's 14, 5'3", 140 pounds. She has bleach blonde hair and hazel eyes. And as I mentioned before, her mother used to be a foster daughter of mine years ago when she was 16, or when her mother was 16. So if you have any information regarding the Kmu's disappearance, her whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210, or the KBI is 785-296-4017. And see what we can do to get Kmu located and back home again.
Wow.
I'm not sure why she ran this time, but the last time apparently it was due to not liking some of mom's rules and stuff. So,
yeah,
one of those deals. And this one is Freeman Compton. And dang it. There's always one flyer I seem to miss. I'm getting it real quick here. Hang on. Oh, almost there. There it is right there. Okay. All right. He is missing from Parsons, Kansas on September 27th, 2025. He's 16, 5'6", 133 pounds, blonde hair, green or hazel eyes. He just moved to Parsons on Friday, September 27th. And I was told he was unfamiliar with the area, but I got a message saying that he had been there, had stayed there before. So he was somewhat familiar with the area. He does have severe health conditions that require medication that he does not have with him. And he's 16. He's 5'6", weighs 133 pounds, blonde hair, green or hazel eyes. If you have any information regarding Freeman's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Parsons, Kansas Police Department at 620-421-7060 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Freeman located and back to where he needs to be.
Freeman. I like that name.
Yep. And this one I just did right before the show. I got an email asking me to get her flyer going again. Harley Garrett Dawn Smith, missing from Independence, Kansas since September 30th, 2025. So since yesterday. She's 17, 4'11" to 5'2", weighs between 98 and 120 pounds. I'm told she's closer to 5'2". Has blonde hair and hazel eyes. If you have any information regarding Harley's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Independence, Kansas Police Department at 620-332-1700 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can get Harley located and back to where she needs to be. We've had her flyer from missing from several different locations over the last couple of years or so. She's a frequent runner, but we still got to get them found.
Hopefully she gets found and finds a reason to stay put, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she's closing in on 18. If she just, calm down and be patient,
In my 20s, I should have been on a flyer. I mean, I told people where I was, but in my 20s, I was very flaky. I just would move at the drop of a hat, sometimes across the country. I would just basically get to where I was unhappy about something, and I would just pack my car up and leave. And I always felt like I was punishing all those around me with my absence and stuff, which you kind of are. Some people don't really deserve your energy. But it took me way too long to realize that every time I packed up and got in my car and drove away, I was essentially kind of running from my own stuff, and you don't get very far down the road when you're running away every time you have to face adversity. So, again, I did it a lot in my 20s. I just packed my car and took off. But now, looking back, I think that standing your ground and getting through the adversity without having to run away is a lot more rewarding to you. When you get through things, you kind of figure stuff out and get through it rather than run away from your problems, so it's a learning curve. It takes a long time to figure out how to do stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And this one is Dana Bruce, missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th, 2008. Was 23 when she was missing. She's now 40. 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair, green or hazel eyes. She was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia, Missouri. She had left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the rest of the night. Dana was seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with that man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man that she was with on the night she vanished. He traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after Dana disappeared, and police questioned him about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. Told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush. She does not have any credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. And she was 23 when she went missing. She would now be 40. 5'2", weighs 98 pounds, has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots and black at the ends with red highlights and green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the words Rebel and silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. She has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She's blind in her left eye. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced one time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department It's 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100. For the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or toll free at 866-362-6422 or private investigator Leslie at 910-427-0070. Let's see what we can do to get Dana located and back home to her family. So I know they're really wanting to get her back home, and she's no longer with us. Give her proper burial and have a place to go and mourn her if that's the case. Just do what we can to help her. I'm seeing a comment down here from Ellen, her aunt. So there's going to be a candlelight vigil for Dana on October 4th in Sedalia. So here in a couple of days.
Sheesh.
Yep. That's awesome. Glad they're doing that.
From me.
Yeah, if you get any pictures from the vigil, Ellen, send them my way, and I will see if we can't show a couple on the show on the next one.
Wow.
If I lived closer, I would go myself, but I'm about 200 miles or so away. So
yeah, I'm about 7 hours and 45 minutes away, it says.
Oh, geez. This one is Jeremiah Demetrius Moneta. He's missing from Ponca City, Oklahoma since January 17, 2025. 22 when he went missing. He's now 23, 5'9", 150 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He just recently moved to Ponca City from Kansas City, Missouri, and went missing from Ponca City again on January 15, 2025. His bank account's not been touched, and his apartment showed no signs of a disturbance. Jeremiah's cell phone was found in someone else's possession, and his asthma inhaler was found on a stranger's porch. Family says that Jeremiah never leaves his inhaler behind. And when he disappeared, he was 22. He's now 23. He's 5'9", weighs 150 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. He does have facial hair, and he has a Playboy bunny tattoo on his shoulder blade. He was last seen wearing a Kansas City Chiefs hoodie, jeans, and work boots. If you have any information regarding Jeremiah's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Ponca City, Oklahoma Police Department at 580-767-0370, or you can call the anonymous tip line at 580-762-5100. And anybody who wants to send an anonymous tip online, you can do so at www.tipsubmit.com/webtips.aspx ? Agency ID = 496. You can fill out the tip sheet there and send in your information. You can also text the Ponca City Police Department your message to crimes 274637 from your cell phone. If you want to email your information, you can send it to Crime Stoppers at poncacityoK.gov. And see what we can do to help get Jeremiah located and back home to his family. So I know they're worried sick about him and want him home. And I don't know if in the description down there, if that's the Chiefs hoodie he was wearing when he went missing or not. I'm assuming it was. But let's see what we can do to get him found and back home. And thank you all. I appreciate that.
Pretty good show.
Yeah. Yeah, I just kind of, like I said, being that I was supposed to have surgery tomorrow, that I wanted to go ahead and do a line of focus show, because I haven't really done one. And my heart's always been with those cases because I've lived here 58 years, and it's like I just don't feel like those cases get enough attention, from local media, which there isn't much left anymore, especially since the Journal was sold to whatever company it is that owns USA Today. And they've really watered that paper down something terrible. It's just basically an extension of the USA Today, because whatever you see in USA Today, that's what you'll see in the Salina Journal. Maybe one or two local stories, but that's about it. The radio stations tend to try to cover a little bit once in a while, especially KSAL. But yeah, I just really feel like there needs to be more focus on these cases, because I'm sure there's people out there that know things, and I just really want them to step forward and say something, and let the police department decide if it's something they need or not. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining us tonight to go over these cases. And as I mentioned, I just want to see that people do the right thing and call their information in. Let's bring some people home. Let's solve some homicides. Let's bring some folks to justice. Get some closure for some families. With that being said, I say, Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight to go over these cases. What was supposed to be my last show for a little bit turned out to be not. I am grateful for that. My faith and trust is in you on what's going on and where it's going to lead. But again, I just need people to do the right thing and call their information in. Until we see each other next week, everybody stay safe. God bless. Have a good night. And amen.
Amen.